Yo, what's up, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to the Tim Black Show. What's up? Man, we in the house, we in the building, y'all. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Are we getting some love in the building tonight? What's up? Who's here? That's right. Who's here? Folks, give it up for my brother, the trooper. The brother going through thick and thin, dealing with the weather in Kentucky. Your moderator and mine, the one and only Buck Beauty, guys, on YouTube. Thank you, Buck. Yeah, man. Buck is moderating from his bathtub today. It's a flotation device. My brother Buck, man. Brother, tough as nails, man. He sent me a picture. He was waist high. The water was up to his sternum. Wherever that is. I think sternum's. He's in the water in sternum. Look, Tim. We're making it. We're gonna be okay. I'll be able to moderate tonight. I'm like, Buck. Brother, take the day off. It's a free job. Jesus Christ, man. No, man, no, Tim. I gotta do it for the wolf pack. That damn Buck. I got a hangnail I was about to call in. Nah, Buck, we love you, brother. Thank you for doing what you do, man. And I'm glad that you and yours are safe. And I hope that I hope that everybody's okay. I think you would have told me. I don't think you would have been here if people weren't safe. But thank you, Buck, for doing what you do, man. And the labor of love, which is moderating the chat room and limiting people's free speech. Thank you, Buck. Also, I want to give it up to one and only Black Mamba. Yeah. Black Mamba is my friend, the moderator, holding it down, steady hand on the trigger. Good people, very good people, damn good people. Thank you both for what you do. All right, Mamba, no flirting. No flirting with the gentleman. Mamba. Yeah, we fall in love with Black Mamba. Oh, Black Mamba. Gotta beat them off you. No fraternizing with the customers. So here we are, guys. We're here. We're live. God, in case you didn't know. In case y'all didn't know. Sorry. Pardon me. Okay, in case y'all didn't know, this is a political U.S. politics news channel. We very rarely, if ever, do international news. Just not my jam, Johnson. But I don't have a problem with international news. It's not like I'm, not afraid of it. Just don't cover it. Jesus Christ. We do black news. We do black culture, and we do what's the other one? Black culture, breaking news, and U.S. politics. That's what we do on this channel. So if you're new to the channel and you're going, oh man, that politics. It is. I'm just saying, man, go to a wrestling show and be like, oh, they talking about wrestling again. More of this wrestling crap. I want to see a good chess match. YouTube, man, media itself has so many channels. So many channels to choose from, man. You get all, you pick and choose what you like. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, man. Everybody's not down to talk about this stuff, but I'm going to talk about it tonight, Johnson. Tonight's show is brought to you by the one and only Tim Black mug. This is Legacy Mug, Johnson, right? $20 to your door. Tim Black, politics for the people. That's what it says there, politics for the people. Dishwasher, microwave safe, hater safe. You can put liberal tears in it, conservative tears, progressive tears, tears for fears, all the tears, the jeers, so many years. Put everything in there. Great stuff. Go to timblackmug.com and get your own to your door, Johnson, $20. I pick up the shipping or it's included in the cost. Yeah, that's what it is, included in the cost. Man, these people have been crazy, man, last couple of days, man. And you know, man, I'm okay with that. I like crazy. Crazy got the best chitlins. I don't eat chitlins. Crazy has the best conversation. And you know what's great, guys? You know what's really dope? It's all the love I've been getting from the conservatives lately. Yeah, they love it. When they find out they misjudged me, that I'm not Jason Whitlock, just because I don't like Kamala Harris's politics. Yeah, man, they ain't doing that but sending me love mail all week. Nothing like it, man. It's been, these guys are so gracious. Oh, we thought you were different, Tim. Oh, you thought I was a self-hating ninja, huh? Oh, okay. That would be Wesley Hunt. We don't look alike. I don't know why you would think that. Why would you think that? Just because I'm a Democratic Party hater? Damn. These people crazy, man. So it is what it is, man. We got a lot going on, Johnson, and I'm happy to report the news to you guys. Look, anybody thinking about voting for Stephen A. Smith? I just want to get this out here real quick. Is anybody seriously thinking about voting for Stephen A. Smith? Talk about a manufactured candidate. Man, this is so crazy. Look, if there's anybody out there that doesn't believe the Democrats didn't put this thing together and throw his goofy ass out there, Screaming A. Smith don't know nothing about politics. He knows we've got a few talking points. Come running out here. Oh, say something to the people. Hillary Clinton was a bad candidate, and Kamala Harris and Trump won the 73 swing states, and then he brought down the cost of inflation 125,000%, and the Democrats don't know what they're doing. They don't know what's wrong with these Democrats. The Democrats crazy. They did it to themselves. You know, if that's all it takes. Damn, man, I feel awkward. If that's all it takes to get you guys to vote for someone, maybe I should run. And Jesus, if Stephen A. gets to run, you know? Come on. I mean, but I want to know who's taking him seriously, man. I'd like to know the person amongst us that actually thinks this guy, you know, it's sort of, remember Kanye did it last cycle? Like, oh, Kanye West is running. Yeah. It's a little publicity stunt. But see, this is worse than Kanye running. This is the Democrats trying to grab media attention. I guess they figured, I don't know, they needed someone else name thrown around, you know, because The Rock was like, hell no. I can smell what y'all cooking. I can smell what you're cooking, and what you're cooking ain't good for me. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, just a low level, I mean, to be actually considering Stephen A. Smith as a viable candidate, an option, only shows you how bad the Democrats are doing, Johnson. I mean, you know, it's like, damn. You know, it's like nominating Tubi for an Oscar. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's probably got a couple good shows. But please. I saw where they had this one movie, the science, like the special effects was so bad, like someone got shot and they started laughing. Someone who shot him and someone in the room was laughing. You can hear them laugh. They didn't even go back and edit it out. The acting was so bad, someone on set literally laughed. It's like, Forget you, ninja. Pow. Oh, he fell down. And I hear somebody go, I was like, that's not supposed to be in there. The director was obviously on the budget. He's like, it's more authentic this way. We know we suck. And if we admit we suck and we show it, people will embrace us more. They want us to be honest. Yeah, man. Even thinking about voting for Stephen A. Smith. I mean, not just voting for him, because people do dumb things as a gag, you know? But giving money? Somebody go in their pocket and give Stephen A. Smith money to pretend to run for office. Come on, man. He's more likely to run full court, a pickup game of full court against LeBron James and win. Come on, man. We're not going to lie to ourselves. It's because Democrats are desperate, man. You know? They desperate. And you know what's also funny is that him pretending that he's not a Democrat. You're an opportunist, Stephen A. We already know it. You know we saw you last year, right? We've been around you. You've been on TV running your mouth. We know you supported Kamala. And before that, we know you supported Joe Biden. We were here. Look, man, here's the deal. If you vote for more than one Democrat in a row, you're a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? If you voted for 2 Democrats in the last 10 years, you are a Democrat. Stop lying to yourself. If you have relations with someone of the same gender 2 times in the last 6 months. But look, man, we're going to have to start keeping it honest, man. Keep it real. Ain't nothing worse than somebody in the closet about their political affiliation just to help themselves. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is with this guy. I'm just curious, man. Put it in the comment section below. Anybody think that Screaming A. Smith is a serious candidate, man? Please put it down there. Like, I know you're going to be, don't let the peer pressure get to you. Go ahead and write it out if you really believe it. In fact, let's run a poll. If you don't think he's serious, that's a 0. If you think he's serious, it's a 1. So is he serious? If you say no, put a 0. If you think he's serious, you say yes, give us a 1. Then get up out of here because you are too crazy to be watching this. Nah, man, it ain't like that, man. We welcome different opinions, even if they're horrible. Yeah, man, we not like that. We ain't cold like that, man. You can be dumb if you want to. Woo. What else we got? Okay, that's the start. I just thought I'd throw that in there. I wanted somebody else on the thumbnail for the show, and I was like, who can I put? Oh, Stephen A. Smith. That's what I put. He in the news every day talking. Well, I know people I know the white people that own ESPN be just looking at Stephen A. Smith run his mouth, and they be like, we should have never gave that ninja money. What were we thinking giving him money? Look at him. Thinking thinking he's capable of doing things. Look at him. Yeah, I know. I saw it too. I saw him. He's acting crazy. He's talking like he's actually, intelligent about any of the issues. Yeah, guys. So look, tonight's show is Carmelo's report revealed. Trump applies pressure. And comedy becomes a campaign ad. Oh! Baby. Oh. Well, from Ashley to Classy. Y'all ready for it, man? Y'all ready for this, man? Hold on, man. Anybody watching the show? I don't even know if anybody's here. Anybody in the house? Who's here, man? I got any people in the comment section at all? Anybody come through? What's up, Lead Clinton? Ned Clinton, Charles Brewster, Black Rose. Can I call you Rose? Claiborne Bay, what's happening? Ebony, Wood Boy, NC, Crime and Mickey Mullen, The True Lion, MMI. What's cracking? The Amazing Megs, Galaxy Ravers, Skeptical Jerk. It lets you out. All right, cool. Nigel's in the building. What's up? What's up, Timothy Mosley? Undisputed Truths in the building, along with Malcolm Rex, Cat Negrita. Yeah. Brawlsy Hill's in the house. Making it do what it do, Johnson. Yeah, man. I'm not even mad. Look, man, I'm not mad at our situations, man. We gotta do better, man. We gotta do better. Gotta do better. All right, y'all. You ready? All right, guys. Yeah, let's see how we're doing. Okay, so I've been covering the Carmelo Anthony story here on this channel. I'm going to continue to cover it. That is my obligation. I'm committed to covering this story. I think it's very important to cover it. Want to bring everybody up to speed, everybody who's been not able to tune in. Got some not recent developments. Thanks to Aaron Careerslaw, one of the followers of the show, longtime follower of the show. Aaron sent me the Frisco County Police Department's police report. Or I should say arrest record. Not a police report. Yes, no, police report. That's what it is, police report. Arrest record, Tim. Arrest record details. That's what we got. So check this out, guys. We're going to go over that. We're going to also go over some interesting tidbits. We're going to go over a self-defense lawyer or attorney who's touted on the internet. He has some ideas he wants to share. He's got a video out that's done almost, I think it's up to close to 200,000 views on this video discussing the self-defense probability of that being a ruling in the case. So let's get into it.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Okay, so the first thing, you know what, guys? First thing I want to do is I want to, it might be even better. Let's see if we can do this way. Hold tight, guys. Let's remove this. I have a PDF. Let's see if the PDF works better. I think it might. Because we'll get the whole PDF on the screen. So let's go here. Let's go here. Let's upload the file. Bear with me, guys, as I get this PDF loaded up real quick. I got it here. There we go. Typically, I use video clips for this, but I'm going to go with the PDF version because I think it'll appear on the screen in a better. Yeah, it might be a little bit better here. So I thought it would, maybe. Okay, we'll do it like this. I actually don't know if that's better or not. It's harder to read, though, Johnson. Damn. I'm going to have a hard time here. Was that better? I guess this is better, wasn't it? Let's go with this. Okay, so guys, first things I want to point out about this. First thing I want to point out about the arrest report here is they're looking at the vital statistics of Carmelo Anthony Sincere. I also want to point out the spelling of the young man's name. It's a K, not a C. You don't know how many people have been adamant in the comment sections about his name spelling. You were trying to sabotage me. That's important. One thing I want to point out here regarding his vital statistics is the height and weight. He's 5'9", 130 pounds. 5'9", 130 pounds. This is important to note because both of the Metcalf boys are 200 pounds plus in that 5'9". Okay, so I want to make that known that they each had, I guess, 70 pounds on them. Okay, so just thought I'd throw that out there. because it's not something that many people who are critics of Carmelo Anthony have even broached. Moving on here. Moving on. As you know, he's 17 years old. We already know that. So this is the initial narrative. As we know it, this particular officer, Eduardo Cortez, got the report over the wire, dispatched out a stabbing call at David Renkindo Stadium. Frisco Police Department call notes indicated that an athlete was stabbed. The suspect was reported as being a black male. So we know this stuff, right? So this is the basic stuff. So he goes over, he's got a description of a black male, short hair, blue, I think it's blue sweatpants, Nike pants, a gray hooded sweatshirt, okay? So nothing out of the normal there. Page 2, note he was okay, so here we go. This is where it gets interesting, guys. Let's start from the top. There was a chain link fence that separated me from the suspect. I gave the suspect instructions to keep his hands up in the air. During this time, the suspect said verbally out loud, I was protecting myself. It should be noted that I had not questioned him about the incident when he made that comment. I asked him if he had any weapons, and he said no. I patted him down for weapons while we were walking along the fence, and I did not locate any on this person. I instructed the male to continue walking along the fence while he complied towards an area where there was an opening in the fence that led off the track. While walking him off the track, the suspect also said he put his hands on me. I then detained the suspect in handcuffs, handcuffed him behind his back, and had him sit down on the ground. Officer Ricky had arrived on scene at the time. I conducted another pat down on the person and searched the person. I advised that I had the alleged suspect. The suspect then responded and says, I'm not alleged, I did it. Next, Officer Ricky and I walked the suspect to patrol vehicle number 2412. I want to point out here, guys, this is important for people to recognize how we say things matters. Because I'm noticing some people, when they're reading over this, just the tonation that they use can basically show where they feel, what they feel, their bias is for or against Carmelo Anthony. But at the end of the day, it's going to be decided in court, and we're hoping that we get a fair trial. But I've been noticing some things. You should be aware of that when people are reading over this. Because some people read over like, he said, I did it. You know, like, there's no notes. There's no actor's notes. And even, I've noticed even lawyers are putting a spin on it for their audience on the internet. I mean, it's bad, Johnson. I don't know why we have such scumbags. I mean, they are assigning all types of horrible motives for Carmelo Anthony. And none at all from the much bigger, much stronger, with people with him, twin that never left his side. No negative, no scary like narratives that they're projecting about that. So I just want to point that out. Please be aware of that. So he identified the suspect. He had his body-worn camera on. There's going to be film. That's another thing, guys. There's going to be film coming out of all of this. Number of the officers. Last time I checked, I think it was 7 officers. And all of them either had their body cams activated when they got there or soon after. And there were also a number of bystanders, a number of witnesses that also recorded footage. It just hasn't been leaked. So, no, it's going to be more to this story. We're just getting started. Okay, so I think that's all we got on here. Well, let's go back. He does make another statement. He put his hands on me. I then detained the suspect in handcuffs, handcuffed him behind his back. The suspect then responded and says, I'm not alleged I did it. As we were walking to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said he put his hands on him. He put his hands on me. Let's do that one more time. As we were walking to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Once again, when I'm hearing lawyers sometimes go over this stuff, the way they are articulating it, emotional and angry and fuming are all different words. Emotional to me implies distress. Distress. A person that's emotional is distressed. In distress, they are, at the very least, very unhappy. Okay, so this is important to know. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. I did not question the suspect about the incident while he was escorted to the patrol vehicle. I searched his person once again and had him sit in the back seat. While the suspect was in the back seat, I noticed fresh blood on his left middle finger. I verbally acknowledged that I saw the blood out loud so that it would be captured on my body-worn camera. And if I'm not mistaken, we can go to the next page. So here we go. We're going to pick up here 2 of 4. Okay, that's the same one. Yeah, we're still on the same page. Let's keep going. Okay, so let's start from the top here. This is Officer Hancock arrived on scene. Arrived on scene and remained with me and the suspect at this point. Carmelo was then checked via school database. They determined that they had the correct identity for the young man. I did not question Carmelo about the incident. Upon arriving at the Frisco jail, Carmelo was escorted to the intake area. Frisco Police Department jail staff changed him into his jail attire, and he was processed. And I see no other statements here. I had no further information to report. Now we have another officer, Ricky Allison, or Allison Ricky. When I arrived on scene, I approached the track field area and saw Officer Cortez kneeling next to a black male wearing a gray hooded sweatshirt and blue sweatpants. Okay, so every officer that came on the scene that interacted in any way or even with witnesses or with the scene had to write a report, and that's customary. Let's keep going. There's going to be a lot here, guys, so please pay attention to this part. Yeah, here we go. Austin and the suspect, who were later identified as Carmelo Anthony. Anthony was from Centennial High School and was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. Austin had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under the tent, their team's tent. And Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside, proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. So this is coming from a witness. But it's important to notice what these people are saying. He opened it and reached inside and proceeded to tell Austin, touch me and see what happens. No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag. And Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. And then Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony pulled out what witness recalled as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. To me, this is, once again, I hope we got some footage. I don't know if people standing by would film this at this point. If they started filming the interaction, at what point they did, that's going to be very helpful. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. This is the part for me that I had to make some notes. Touch me and see what happens. I think that is going to be the most important statement. It's going to determine a lot for me I would think for any juror, in what context was that said? Was he being threatened physically? Were people crowding up on him? What was, because they're not telling us what words were being exchanged. So I don't know what witnesses is, okay? In this report by this officer, they're not saying what words were exchanged. There had to be words exchanged. There had to be dialogue. There had to be physicality involved. There had to be, where was Austin in relation to Carmelo at this point? No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag. Why is that? No one really thought he had any weapons in his bag. No one really thought that. I can take that several ways. Like maybe he's been picked on before. Now you think, he never had anything on him before when guys mess with him. I don't know. It's different ways you can infer what that means. Why would you say, if you don't know a person, and that's what people are saying, they didn't know each other, how would you know if he had something or not? Why would you presume he didn't have it something? I'm just trying to get an understanding of what this story is. Austin proceeded to touch Anthony, and Anthony told Austin to punch him and see what happens. This is going to be a big part, and this is what I've seen people make a big to-do about it. And that's because they're inferring it one way that suits the narrative they want to paint. If you're up in my personal space, I don't know, and you're flinching at me like you're going to hit me. You're doing this. You need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. And you're in my personal space. I said, hey, don't touch me. That's not provoking you. That's warning you. Later in this video, I'm going to show you a lawyer that says, hey, that's provocation. I don't see this provocation. If you're in someone's space and you're threatening them physically, they can say, hey, hey, you all up in my face, just don't touch me. That to me does not want you to do it. That to me is saying, hey, don't do it. He literally said, don't touch him. Then if you're faking like you're going to punch him, which is something kids do, I mean, kids are dumb that way. They're going to hit you and do all this crazy stuff. It's like, hey, if you go ahead and touch me, go ahead and hit me. Go ahead and hit me. Which you didn't. In the context of where it was said, I can't understand why people see that as him taunting Austin to go further. As if this is a huge plot for him to be able to stick Austin Metcalf. As if he knew Austin would be under this tent when Austin doesn't even run track. Like, it just seems kind of crazy. But let's keep going. Then it said a short time later, and to me that means a lot is missing. A short time later, Austin grabbed Anthony. There was nothing that happened. It was like everything cooled out, and then Austin grabbed him. Where was Austin when he just doing this whole time? What was exchanged? What words were exchanged? What was Austin saying? What was Hunter saying? Him and his twin brother, everybody's there. And from my understanding, it's just Carmelo by himself. What was being said? Was the crowd in on it? What was the crowd doing? I don't see any witnesses saying, hey, we tried to get Carmelo to leave. The rest of us told him to leave. Or we tried to get Austin to stop and have a seat or leave it be or let it go. Remember, it's pouring down raining. And there are other people under the tent. There is no mention of anything else happening. So I can't wait to see the footage because that's going to paint in a lot of the picture. Of course, we got people that are saying it went this way and saying it didn't go that way or whatever. I tend to believe if someone asks you not to touch them, that'd probably be the best thing to do. And I don't understand why you would, go against that. I don't get it. Unless you want trouble and you're trying to start trouble. Okay. And the part where he says here, and I find this very confusing. I don't get this. How could you know why Anthony, how could you know why Austin was touching Anthony? It says here, It says here something like Austin grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. Why would you need to grab somebody to tell them to move? So I really question the bias level of the witnesses. Because you don't need to grab someone to tell them something. Telling is with your mouth. Grabbing is with your hands. You don't need to grab somebody to tell them they need to move. But apparently, I guess, I don't know. If you're 130 pounds and a 200-pound plus linebacker is grabbing you, I don't know how that feels. Maybe it feels good to you. I don't know. You know, I think they say that Austin was 6'1". I don't know. The 5'9". And like I don't want to guess. I don't want to guess how tall, Austin was, which is sad. I gotta say it was. Because somebody did lose their life. And that's a damn shame. Once again, this should have never happened. I feel bad even talking like that. I got to put him in the past tense. Right? But I got to question this witness because the witness is saying, hey, he only touched him to tell him to leave. Last time I checked, you didn't need to touch people to tell them stuff. And then what I also thought was significant is that Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Austin once and ran away. Not twice, not 3 times, not 5 times, not throw up gang signs, not threaten everyone. None of that, just ran out. To me, it gives me the impression he was afraid. That's the impression it gave me. And I also don't have the impression that he was doing so, though it did result in death. It just, based on what I was reading, it didn't seem like that was the intention. But there's a different charge for that. And I think we're almost done. I think that's all. The rest is the various officers getting basically the same information. I guess this is important. This gives you a little different side of what happened with the other brother. This is Officer Alvin Fisher. He says, I, Officer Fisher, was dispatched in regards to a stabbing, and note stated an athlete had been stabbed in the chest, was unconscious and not breathing. When I arrived, the crime scene was already marked off and the suspect was in custody. I began asking people if they were witnesses to anything. I made contact with Hunter, and then E.P., black male. They were both breathing heavily and crying due to the nature of events. Well, I don't know what that is. With E and P, I don't know who that is. But anyway, someone was breathing heavily and crying due to the nature of the events. They were with coaches on the field and it was pouring down rain. We made the decision to relocate to a locker room just to the east to get out of the rain. Once in there, things calmed a little bit. However, they were still hysterical and could not really talk. In there, I learned Hunter was the brother of the victim. I attempted to ask them both what had happened. I could not really get anything out of Hunter. But stated he wanted to speak. I asked him what happened, and he stated that they were all sitting on the bleachers under a Memorial High School tent when another male who he did not know walked over, sat under the tent, then said Austin, the victim told this male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. Austin and the male went back and forth. Then Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. Okay? Now this is Hunter stating this. And I don't think that's what his lawyers would want him to say, but that's what he said in the heat of it. Austin went over to him, stood up and pushed the male. Yeah. To get him out of the tent. Had said during this time of arguing, the male was reaching in his bag in his bag he had, it was at this time, the male took out a knife from Sam Austin and then left the scene. This was all remembered when he talked to me. So that's pretty much all that was reported here. All the rest are basically identical statements made by other officers. Yeah. I do want to point out, guys, and that you have done more than most people on the internet because you have went over the police report. You've looked at the arrest records. You understand what was said verbatim. And that's a big deal because a lot of people talking about this have not gone over anything. They're just going on he say, she say, and it's all over the place. This is like my 5th time reading this. So I'm intimately aware what was listed here in this police record. And now you know it too. So that's dope. At least now we know what we're talking about. We weren't there. We haven't seen the witnesses' testimony. We haven't seen the evidence. We haven't seen any footage. But at least we know what was written down. And we got to take that for what it's worth. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I also want to point out there were a number of witnesses, guys. This event has a lot of people, guys. Here we go. There's a long list of witnesses. I got one school, a Lebanon Trail High School boys track. And there are a number of witnesses that were there, and then listed beside those witnesses where they're from. So it's a track meet, and there's one boys track team from one school, a girls track team from another school. Of course, the Memorial High School boys track, which was running, the Frisco High School boys track, the Independence High School boys boys and girls track, and then the Emerson High School girls track. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 different groups of people, of witnesses potentially. And I saw about 15 names, maybe a little more than that, maybe 15 to 20 names that were redacted as witnesses. So, and there could be more coming forward. We don't know, but that was at least in the police report. So let's keep going, guys. That's the update we have there. Now I want to go to that lawyer I told you about. When Aaron was so cool to send me this information, right? So I would have the authentic police report, the arrest record. He also sent me a link of a lawyer who's a self-defense lawyer. And here's what he had to say.
With Tim Black.
Here it is. Then Anthony told Carmelo Anthony, the stabber, told Austin to punch him and see what happens. That sounds to me like provocation with intent. That loses you self-defense. Even if you would otherwise have met the conditions for self-defense, which are not here, there is no deadly force threat evidenced by Austin Metcalf. But even if you had met those conditions for lawful self-defense, you lose it anyway if you engage in provocation with intent. Yes, it's just like the mattress guys. Take your swing, take your swing.
Yeah, the way you said it, maybe it does. Because you just exposed your bias, sir. Yeah, I feel like you exposed your bias big time. If I said, if you're up on me, you're in my personal space, if you're bigger than me, I'm looking up at you and I'm like, hey, touch me and see what happens. That's not me provoking you. That's you being aggressive to me and me warning you. Hey, you don't want this. That's what that is. In fact, that's more than Daniel Penny gave Jordan Neely in New York on the subway. I tend to believe if the 6'2" Marine would have told the 5'6", 130-pound Jordan Neely, hey, man, my body's a registered weapon. I'm a Marine, and if you don't shut up, I'm going to put you in a chokehold and put you in a sleeper. So you need to sit down and shut up. That would have been nice. Maybe Jordan Neely would be alive today. Maybe he would have snapped to his senses and says, hey, I don't want to get put in the sleeper hold and die on the train, in the filth, the rat-infested filth of the train. That's a gift. You're saying it as if he's taunting him. I wonder why you're saying it in a taunting way, Attorney Andrew Branca. Your voice inflection doesn't sound like that of a 130-pound who's got a couple of towering linebackers in his grill on the opposing team's tent. And who knows what's being said by the other people. I envisioned it different than you. Now, we could both be wrong, or one of us is wrong, but we can both have our opinions about that. But you drawing a definitive opinion. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, I'm not 100% positive what happened. I wasn't there. But for you to say that's provocation, nah, it's open to interpretation. And if the film comes out and he is standing there and Austin, who put his hand, when he was told twice to keep his hands to himself, and he's in his personal space, I think the judge is going to look at it differently. At least I hope he does, than you did. And this is what I'm saying. Even lawyers, folks, even lawyers got their own mobs, if you're on their own channels, and they're still not calling this thing square. Even lawyers. I can say, hey, I wish that, Carmelo Anthony chose another thing. I wish he hadn't felt the need to defend himself with lethal force. I wish that there was some way. I wish some parent, some adult, I wish that some kids, I wished the other brother would have broke it up. I wish that somebody would have said, hey, big guy, let this little guy go, man. Leave him alone. Nobody did. I didn't see that listed in the witnesses at all, where anybody said they tried to step in. Nor did anyone say that Carmelo was this raging lunatic going up taunting people like he was going to hurt somebody. So I think it's just pathetic that we have people taking such liberty. Once again, I wish it didn't happen. I wish it never went this far. I wish someone would have intervened. Unfortunately, no one intervened, and now someone's lost their life. And all these lives are forever changed. And that's horrible. But I find it disgusting that you, a person, you're just a lawyer. You're just a. But it's weird because you're a self-defense lawyer. You would think you would be on the side of the person who's claiming self-defense if that's the claim, which they haven't claimed yet. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? You would think he would be more, more understanding of how this could play to self-defense. Like what I came up with, what I got from it. But he's not even entertaining that a person could be afraid, saying, hey, don't put your hands on me. He's not even entertaining that it could be said that way. Instead, he's got it like he's menacing. Put your hands on me, you're going to find out. Yeah. Yeah, he's got it like he's menacing, almost to the point where Carmelo's on his tippy toes in the big guy's chest. Yeah, put your hands on me. What should happen to you? When I didn't see any witnesses make any statement like that. That's not what I'm getting. It's not what I'm getting at all. I'm getting Carmelo Anthony standing under the tent based on witness testimony. Austin and his brother and his friends sitting in the bleachers, getting up, coming over to his personal space and putting hands on him and trying to push him out the tent physically. And then being warned not to do it. And then being warned, after being pushed, don't hit me. Hit me and see what happens. Which they obviously threatened to do, or why would he say hit me and see what happens? Is it, am I inferring too much here, guys? Am I being too reasonable? Is it possible a person says, hit me and see what happens? out of the blue? Or is it more likely you said, hit me and see what happens? Because somebody just said, I'm going to knock your ass out if you don't get out of here. I'm going to beat you up. And then you say, hey, hit me and see what happens. That makes more sense. But not to our lawyer here. Our lawyer friend is, he don't see it that way. He sees it as, Austin was being attacked. And this person was trying to get Austin to do this because he wants to attack Austin. Yeah, I don't see it that way. So besides him talking, besides him, I got some other content, folks. We have a number of other people that have come out and made some statements. And I thought this content was interesting. I want to share with you more updates on this case.
Awful, deadly force threats at the hands of Austin Metcalf. And there's not a scintilla of deadly force threat being offered here. Now, we might wish that we lived in a world where someone put their hands on you. That alone was sufficient to justify your use of deadly defensive force. John Wayne had something to say to that effect back in the day. I don't put my hands on other men, and they best not put their hands on me.
Tim.
It's so easy. It seems like it's always been so easy for white guys, to say I was afraid for my life. It seems like it's always easier for them to do it than us, I'm just saying, it just seems that way. I was afraid for my life. You could have these, you could have the numbers, you could have the size, you could be the aggressor. It's still, no matter what, you're not seen as a threat. Daniel Penny choked the guy out and killed him we just saw that. And you don't think physically being bigger and stronger and being the aggressor is enough reason for somebody to feel that they might have to hit you with something? What's the little guy supposed to do? I don't know. I guess run. That's what they want. They wanted him to run. But see, not in Texas. You don't have to, do you? You don't have to run in Texas. We're going to see how this turns out. But I just want to point out the obvious, and I know a lot of black folks are thinking this, man. They're thinking, like, wow, what do you got to do? Like, is it possible? Carmelo was afraid? It's like they don't even entertain the thought. They don't believe that black people could ever be afraid. Just like they don't believe that black women have pain when they go to the doctor. They're all just drug addicts wanting extra drugs to sell, along with the kids they're going to sell for more drugs. So a lot of time black women don't get the medications they want or that they need because doctors don't believe that they're in pain. And I guess here it holds true as well. Lawyers don't believe that black men are afraid or intimidated by people that are even bigger and have more numbers than them. Amazing. Amazing. All right, guys, let's keep going. I want to go to a couple of folks who made video content out there that I saw on TikTok, and I don't know the names, but if you contact me, I'm definitely going to link you back. I appreciate you. Because this lady, this sister, I got two clips. This sister is going to give us information about Carmelo Anthony. You're going to find interesting.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector. All right.
Who racist people.
Tim Black.
I just wanted to put this right here because I noticed that a lot of people who racist people specifically were saying that Carmelo Anthony must not have had his father in his life and his father.
It's not just racist people. I rock with your sister, but let's be clear. I've heard a number of black conservatives doing the same thing. In fact, they sound more racist than who you would have, naturally think, oh, it's going to be some pissed off Latinos or white guys or some Asian guys or something saying this who can't stand black people, be on their anti-black crusade. But I've seen a number of black conservatives making the same comments. But other than that, you cool. You're on point.
Must be a deadbeat, no good person to raise this thug, and that he must be living in the hood and not living good. So I wanted to share these family photos of Carmelo Anthony with his father, his mother, and his siblings, who actually have been together for over 17 years. This family has been together for over 17 years. Okay. One mom, all 4 kids, same dad, very middle upper class family. Interesting. Because I think a lot of racist people were saying that he didn't come from a loving family and that his father was probably in prison or a loser and had abandoned him when he was young because of the stereotypes that you guys hear about black people. The black father must not have been in the home. Well, it seems like his father loves him very much. And it seems like he was raised a good young man, whether you guys like it or not. But you know who came from a broken home? The Metcalf boys came from a broken home because their parents aren't together. And I think the question that I would want to know is, I wonder how coming from a home where the parents aren't together, how that would have affected the twins. I wonder.
Yeah, see, when they thought it was possible that Carmelo Anthony may be coming from a broken home, they want to attribute violence and all this stuff and danger and all these things. Now that they know, now that we are getting information, like, and I have no way to verify this. Those pictures look authentic. Who knows? This is a picture. This is a video of Anthony, but it's crazy, isn't it? Because if it is true that the twins and the mother and father are not together, are they going to apply the same logic to them and say, hey, maybe Austin would have kept his hands to himself. Maybe he wouldn't be threatening the much smaller Anthony, Carmelo Anthony. Maybe the other brother may have broke it up. Maybe there's all this type of stuff. Was there violence in the home? So we're going to, we need to look at these things. Let's consider it. I mean, every time there's been a, number of instances such as Trayvon Martin, Laquan McDonald, Breonna Taylor, they're always looking at Ahmaud Arbery. They're always looking at the deceased black person, and they go through their background with a fine-tooth comb, and they don't look at the person who caused the unaliving. Well, let's go through the background of Austin. Let's look at him for a change. Let's look at the deceased Austin Metcalf and his brother who was present. Let's look at that family. Let's look at the dynamics there. Because I believe all of this could have been avoided simply if Austin would have done one thing, and only he could control this, if he would have not put his hands on and pursued Carmelo Anthony. Here goes Carmelo in the track meet.
Anthony, class of 2025, Centennial High School, Frisco, Texas. Nah, he low-key fast. Number 1 low-key fast, dude. I might have to, if you play number 2,
Yeah, I don't know about this music, guys. Now I got one more clip, guys. One more clip. This one is someone who says they know what happened. I don't know how they know what happened, but I'm going to play the clip and take this with a grain of salt just because I have no way to verify. But I do think it's interesting. This is making the rounds on social. And if you work all day, you might not have seen it. So let's go.
You not open, bro. Shut
Next on deck with Tim Black.
It was raining. It got rained out like crazy bad. Everybody trying to get back to their cars or get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra wet at. Dude was sitting up under the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity. So I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So dude walks up, McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag and whatever. They went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, the dude that got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bruh. It wasn't a school track meet. So he had the right to have a knife on his person, bro.
Next on deck with
I also want to point out that the pocket knife laws in Texas, anything's legal under 5.5-inch blade. So as long as the blade of your knife is under 5.5 inches, right, it's legal. It is legal to have a pocket knife that's less than 5.5 inches long, the blade itself. Because I'm getting people that they don't look this stuff up. They don't care to look it up, I guess, but they're making a lot of comments. They're saying this was a school. It wasn't. Have you ever been to a track meet? It's a track. You go to the track, and it's not at the school. And the thing about the knife, which is erroneous, people just saying anything. And I get it, man. Tensions are high. People think what they think. I'm not gonna say they're doing it out of bad faith. I think they just don't know. So for the record, for anybody who doesn't know, in Texas, you can have a knife. I reported several times in Texas, a lot of people have guns. Almost everyone has a gun or a knife or some form of protection. Not everyone, but a lot of someone's, okay? And unless all it has to be is 5.5 inches or shorter, the blade, not the handle, the blade of the knife is considered legal. Okay. All right, guys, that's it. I just want to point out a couple of things, man, and also just to reiterate, there's no winners in this, only losers, right? No winners, only losers. Someone lost their life, and all the families here are forever changed. We don't need this as a society. I'm sure they don't need that as a community going on. I'm sure they got enough problems in those communities, enough things to deal with, than this to be added to the mix. And, I think I'm not going to, I don't want to demonize anybody behind this. But all I'm saying is, can we get a fair shake sometime where the media actually takes time and takes a look at old boy and his family? Because someone's got to stand up and say that about Carmelo. Because they're very happy to railroad him and make him seem like this evil demon that came in to hurt the scrapping, promising, physical specimen. That's how they're projecting this. And what I'm seeing is something totally different. I'm seeing bigger guys taking advantage of a little guy, and looks like they FAFO'd. That sucks. That's not cool. I'm sure mom is destroyed, dad is destroyed. I get it. But I also think, Carmelo Anthony's family is destroyed too. You don't move to this nice area for your son to end up in violence like this. And now you got to go to court. Now you got to fight for his life, for his freedom. That's not what you want for your son, for any of your children. So this is tough. I can only imagine this is tough for all those involved. So there's no victory laps. There's none of that going on. There's no making fun of it. It's no joking. I'm not doing this to spite anyone. But damn it, I'm going to stand on business. It is disgusting, the number of conservative black commentators that I see. And you know what? You don't owe black people anything. I get it. You owe black people nothing. But this is what I noticed, no matter who you are, from Candace Owens to a number of these conservative black, to Jason Whitlock, all of them. They'll play I'm black and these people are treating me this way card. But they will not defend or stand up or call out what we know to be historically true. Historically true. Black men are the number one incarcerated, also the number one exonerated. And they love talking about the incarcerated part, but I very seldom, if ever, hear those same commentators talk about the exonerations. That's because the audience doesn't like that side of it. The audience has a bias and a fetish to seeing black people locked up. They have a bias towards that. Into that belief system that black people are the most dangerous thing on the planet. So I just don't get that from this case. But I will say this: if the videotape comes out and it tells you something different, if we look at it and we're looking at the tape and we have to draw different conclusions, if more evidence comes out, we should all be man, woman enough, human beings enough to look at it and say, okay, this is what I now see. But based on what I see now, I don't have a reason. I see no reason why anybody should be jumping to conclusions that Carmelo Anthony is some crazed lunatic, bloodthirsty lunatic that ran in here and tried to hurt this football player. I don't get that at all. I don't get that at all. Last time I know, psychotics are not hysterical or emotionally, very emotional and claiming their innocence and saying how they were defending themselves. Last time I heard, that's not what Dylan Roof did. Daniel Penny didn't look distraught at all. I don't remember George Zimmerman being all a wreck, So either Carmelo Anthony was pretending very well, very good actor. Who knew he was a great athlete, a great student, a great son, and also a great actor? I didn't know that. That wasn't listed. Because he immediately assumed the characteristics of a person who was PTSD at the moment. In shock, afraid, and emotional. And that's based on what the cops said. That's not what hardened criminals do. That's not what sadistic psychos do. So I'm going to continue to cover this story. And I just hope that all you good people out there that are watching, all my people, all my Wolfpack people, we will take it as it comes. We will look at the evidence as it goes. But once again, last thing, ain't no winners, man. Now, the winners would have been both of these kids going home and eating dinner. The winners would have been both of these kids going home and none of this happening. And that's being not even having this conversation at all. That would be the win. That would be the win. All right, folks. Let me know what you think in the comment section. How we doing for time? We good? Let's go on, man. Let's go to comedy hype. Can we do a comedy hype piece? Yeah, let's do a comedy hype because these guys, man. What is it about these people, man? It's just get that off the screen. So comedy hype is supposed to be a comedy show. It's supposed to be about politics, not politics. It's supposed to be about comedy, right? It's not supposed to be about who did what and what. It's not supposed to be partisan. It's not supposed to be trying to push on you any particular party affiliation. But I tell you, man, we got a problem with our media. We got a problem with our media because that's all they do. Here they go reporting on Obama. They went and found a couple comedians, and now they want to report on the presidential race or whatever.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Reporting live from Hyper Club House in Atlanta for Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Last week, former President Barack Obama would sit down with Hamilton College President Stephen Tepper as part of the school's Sacerdate series. Several moments from their conversation has caught the ears of the public, particularly Obama's admission that he could not get away with anything Donald Trump and the current administration are doing. D.L. Hughley would take that portion of the interview to post on his own social media.
Imagine if I had done any of this. I just want to be clear about this. Imagine if I had pulled Fox News' credentials from the White House press corps. You're laughing, but no, this is what's happening. Imagine if I'd said to law firms that were representing parties that were upset with policies my administration had initiated that you will not be allowed into government buildings. We will punish you economically for dissenting from the Affordable Care Act. or the Iran deal. We will ferret out students who protest against my policies. It's unimaginable that the same parties that are silent now would have tolerated behavior like that from me or a whole bunch of my predecessors. So, and I say this not on a partisan basis. This has to do with something more precious, which is who are we as a country and what values do we stand for?
Throughout the clip, Obama would run down several of Trump's offenses that have had the American people upset. Obama would simply state that those in Congress would not have done the same for him 15 years ago when he was in office or any other president. Now, Hughley couldn't have agreed more with what former President Obama had to say.
You don't say. What? I'm so shocked. He only wrote a book for him, or a book about him, praising his every move. But yeah, let's go, keep going.
As his caption would read, "They lost their stuff over a tan suit." This, of course, was in reference to Obama's biggest controversy while in office, wearing a tan suit, as it was heavily criticized by political media personalities.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, guys, yeah. What a start about my BS detector here. So much to be calling BS on. First of all, let's start with the last thing. Obama did a lot of things that were horrible. I mean, he took us to war unnecessarily. He bombed the hell out of innocent people, knowing they had nothing to do with 9/11. He continued the bombing. He did things to black people indirectly, like, the Flint water thing. He could have reamed out the Republicans, the Republican governor of Michigan at the time. Could have got after him. Instead, he ran cover for him, went down and did a photo op, pretended to drink the dirty water that has, to this day, a lot of poor kids, particularly black kids in Flint, Michigan, with neurological disorders and learning disabilities because of that water. He famously told all black people, hey, I ain't the president of Black America, I'm a president of America. He didn't say that to LGBTQ or to the Dreamers or the migrants, the other migrants that came across the border. Those of which, the ones he did not deport, he did deport a lot of folks. But then he gave them a pathway to citizenship for so many others. It's a lot of things Obama did that were horrible. He bailed out Wall Street. He put Wall Street in his administration. He sold out to Wall Street and gave us a BS Republican healthcare plan that Comedy Hype or whatever this Hype News, whatever you guys are, didn't take any attention or any time to read out. Of course, DL would never bring that up. It would boil it all down to a tan suit. Another thing, this notion that Trump gets away with stuff. No, he don't get away with stuff. He just doesn't care. So yeah, unlike Obama, Trump doesn't care what people say about him. He's going to do what he's going to do. He'll try to get you back in the end, but he doesn't care about bad publicity. I wish that Obama would have been like that and did, well, only if he was going to do some stuff that actually benefited us. Obama cared about what Republicans thought. Trump doesn't care about what Democrats think. Nah, he taunts Democrats who come after him, and he goes after them too. It's totally different. But this narrative that Trump gets away with stuff, what do you mean gets away with? What do you mean get away? What do you mean? You both are powerful people. I don't know, did you go to jail or something that I don't know about Obama? I mean, you got challenged in court. Trump's wrapped up in court now. His administration's been in court more than any other administration that I can recall. He's being sued right now. Obama was sued a lot, but not more than Trump. They're overturning his executive orders by the bucket load. I'm sorry, bucket load. I was going to say boatload. So like this idea that Trump is getting an easy pass, and we got goofies that are going to go along with the narrative without looking up anything. Trump has been dogged for 10 years straight by corporate media. Liberals been up Trump's backside with a fine-tooth comb. They've been giving him a proctologist exam for the last 10 years. And he's only been in politics for 5 years. Trump has faced more scrutiny in the 5 years of being a politician than Obama has his entire career of being a politician for 20 years. And you're going to sit here because you don't do any research, because you're a bunch of liberals. You're a bunch of liberals. And look, man, you can pretend to be independent, particularly if you're going to be if you're going to be reporting news, and call it straight. No one receives more negative coverage than Trump. When you're talking about, he gets away with stuff. He just doesn't care. You can get away with stuff too if you don't care. Think of all the things you could get away with if you didn't care what people said about you. And you just worried about your base, the people that put you in office, and doing what you told them you were going to do. That's the difference. Obama went around trying to please mofos and lying to get votes and not following through. That's the difference. And the fact that we have comedy hype, not comedy hype, comedy gripe. You know, comedy ripe, as in funky. This is funky. Comedy tripe. Trife comedy. Yeah, that's what you are, trife, because you're not seeing things clearly at all. And I thought that this sister that does the reporting, I thought she did her time, did her research. No research done at all. Man, you could throw a rock at all the stories. You can throw a rock, close your eyes, and just throw something in any direction. That rock will land on a news story that's negative about Donald Trump. It has been that way. Non-stop. I know people who are multimillionaires right now from covering Donald Trump in a negative fashion since 2015. I do not know any multimillionaires, people that became multimillionaires, covering Obama negatively over the last 8 years when he was president. Didn't happen. Because it's just not, it is not, of course there are a bunch of QAnon people and Alex Jones and, these people, yeah, okay. There are people that are going to love that content, but it's not making money. It's not on mainstream TV. It's memes on Reddit and 4chan and X or Twitter. That's not the same thing as being in the actual media space in like mainstream media. Nah, man, hands down. There have been movies put out about Obama, but they've been fringe movies. Look at what's been put out about Trump. I can't believe we're having this conversation. But see, that's the thing. You are in denial and you're carrying water for the Democrats. You should change your title from comedy hype to comedy Democrats or Democrats comedy, because you done sold your soul to the Democrats. And you may not know it or not, but that's not going to be good for you because it's going to be a long 4 years. Let's keep going, Johnson.
With a few even calling it unpresidential and impeach worthy. There were several notable social media users who stood with Obama and voiced their opinions in the comments under Hughley's video. Yamanika Saunders would write, "No."
Another friend of your channel. It's because Obama was black. Well, Obama is mixed. First of all, we're gonna be grown up. Obama had a white mother, Yamanika. And they didn't treat him so mixed when they gave him all that Wall Street money that he ran on. Yeah, he wasn't treated like a mixed candidate then. It wasn't like that's what was happening. Like I said, he's like, oh, don't soften it. Now you're saying that Trump's getting an easy ride because he's white. What easy ride? They tried to damn it, Johnson. Look, they tried to take him out twice. Damn, Johnson. Obama gets to play a victim. No, I'm a victim. We're all victims of Obama's presidency. He lied to us. He made us believe he was going to come in here and represent for us. And he went in there and represented for himself and his bank account. That's what happened. But now he's going to act like he's a victim, that he didn't have power as president? Really? Is that what we buying now? That's how goofy we are? Yamanika, you need to sit down. All of y'all need to sit down. I mean, Capone, man, what's up with your people? I noticed that Capone, I don't see Capone and Pierre much. Not that I can expect Pierre to say anything different. He go with the flow too. But Jesus Christ, man, they tried to take Trump out twice. Imagine the morons you got to have watching your show. Imagine the zombies, the brain dead zombies that got to be watching you to believe the narrative Trump got it easy. Have you been living under a rock or you just smoke him? They tried to take his life twice. Obama's fine. Nobody going, how could you even how could you even form your face to say such a thing? They indicted him on several felonies. And you're going, he's had it easy. He's had it easy compared to me. You know, I had to sit and listen to Michelle talk about dumb things on their podcast. Then I had to sit here with Michael Branson or whatever. The guy that owns the Virgin thing. I had to go on this island and drink a bunch of drinks and be on a yacht. Chill out. I didn't want to chill out. I wanted to party. And me, Barry B, I had to sit on the yacht and have people fan me, feed me grapes. I had to have my, had to have my toes and my nails, my mani and my petty done. As I was sunbathing with Jennifer Aniston. You know, it's hard out here for a former president. You know what I'm saying? All the things I had to go through. Trump never had to do that. You know? I had it hard. So what? He's got felonies. Look at me. I got. It's the last time I went to a Drake concert. Kendrick Lamar didn't put me in his last video. My Netflix show didn't go well. Come on, look what I'm going through. Stop thinking about yourself. Look at me. Going through all these problems. Yeah, and I'm just being, I'm just saying, guys. I mean, yeah, you like Obama, fine. Be dense. It's no law against being dumb, but when you are a media, you're putting media out, and you're defending a position that Obama had it harder? In what world? Last time I checked, Obama ain't got to catch no cabs. And he ain't had a problem putting his kids through school. And he became millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars wealthy. We the ones doing bad. Comedy gripe. These people are good.
Just you. No one but you, and we know why. Don't soften it with, "and some of my other predecessors." Aries Spears is another comedian who jumped into the conversation by posting this.
Man, this goofball always got something to say defending Obama. I think he wants to be Obama's next chef. Yeah, I think Aries wants to work for Obama. Aries, they can't have you eating up all the food.
Same clip to his own social media. Regarding Obama's comments, Spears would say, "This is why it makes me sick to my stomach when I hear black people say, 'What did Obama do for us?'"
Why does that make you sick to your stomach? Why don't you start naming stuff? Yeah, why don't you name some stuff? Go ahead. Name things he did for us since, you get sick to your stomach. I don't think it's black people that make you sick to your stomach. I think that's bad Chinese takeout. I think that's licking Obama's toes that makes your stomach sick to itself.
He wasn't Trump. That's what he did for us. Because if he was...
That's stupid. This is the epitome of symbolism. And look at this. Look at all the capital. This is how dumb black people think black people are. And sometimes that's what's disgusting. Is the level of dumb you have to suppose that black people are that you would even write this, man. You know what he did for us? He wasn't Trump. Yeah, he can't be Trump. He can only be himself. That's not a benefit for other people. That's just nature and DNA, sir. Like, we can't take that to the bank and get a loan, Aries. You child. These people, most of them are parasites, hoping to be able to wrap their lips around the garden hose of Hollywood and be given just someone turn the switch just a little so they can get a little bit of love from Hollywood. This is what it is.
some of white America would have never let us live it down. Obama was eloquent.
Wait, and see that, and this is goofy. White America would never let us live it down. What do you mean let us live it down? Man, we ain't got nothing to do with who they put in office. I mean, not really. Who's coming to you, Aries, and rubbing Obama in your face or rubbing Trump in your face? What are you talking about? We would never live it down. You know, we should not be able to live down a million dead Iraqis. The Flint water fiasco. All the black Americans that lost home. Do you realize how many black Americans lost businesses due to the recession that happened under Obama? Do you realize that? And those businesses, a lot of them never came back. Those became Uber drivers and Instacart drivers and Amazon workers. These were people that had businesses who ended up working at, at Home Depot from being business owners because of that damn recession. A lot of black people had their wealth in their homes. I know, Aries, you're not fond of books, or you know what that crash did to black Americans. It disproportionately hurt us. And we got you sitting up here making no mention at all of those things.
Intelligent, classy, efficient, and was
nothing to do. These are attributes that are up to your interpretation and up to your relevance of whatever you consider. These are personal, like whatever you like. Preferences. Yeah, preferences. It's got nothing to do with reality, sir. You should not pick a president because he was classy. Nah, be effective. Put the money in the pocket. Lift people up out of poverty. Help middle class grow. End the wars. Get the health care. Where's the black anti-hate crime bill? Where's the forming of the damn stupid, the reparations argument? Why come he couldn't push that? If he would have done that, then you could say something. He did not do anything for black people. He did not want to take the hit. He could have done it. It'll probably got overturned by Congress or by the courts. He could have done it and be revered. He wouldn't even do it. That's the difference. Trump is doing stuff. We're going to cover it later in the show. There's some things Trump did, they got thrown back. But you know what? He will forever have done it. And that's one of the problems Black America has, and we need to get past this, is stop giving people credit for not doing stuff just because they're black. Stop always being like, well, he couldn't do nothing, he was black. If that's the case, why have him? If that's all you're going to do, you're going to have no expectations other than stay out of trouble. Now, I thought John Lewis said get in good trouble. Why didn't Obama get in good trouble? When you get in trouble for your people, that's called good trouble. That's what that is. What you gonna say? I thought you was a John Lewis fan, because all of you are. All of a sudden you get quiet because you want to defend him because it's popular. All right, guys, we're almost done.
Black excellence. Some of white America got upset over a tan suit.
Yeah, so was Diddy. Black excellence, black excellence, black excellence. Tan suit. Oh, God. What happened to his tan suit? You know what? I don't hear anybody white talk about Obama's tan suit. Only sellout Democrats bring it up. What, did they burn his suit? What happened to his suit? Somebody put holes in it? What happened to it? Someone threw some bleach on his suit? Oh, no, they talked about it. Oh, okay. Okay, that's torture now, huh? There are people with real problems. Real problems, as if when Obama put on the tan suit, he didn't know people were going to write about it. He probably wore the tan suit, dum-dum, so that people could write about it. Don't you get it? As if he didn't know it was going to be cutting across convention. That's why he did it. And he knew dummies like you and DL would defend it 10 years later. But they came out here for the tan suit. Aries is just not smart enough to have this conversation with. Either that or he's a bad actor. I mean, he's a bad actor, but he's phony.
Imagine if Obama behaved like Trump. Imagine if Obama incited January the 6th. Now, Spears isn't known for his political commentary.
And we know why, because Spears doesn't know shit. It should stay that way. But Spears said, I want some money. I want money. I want people to know who I is. I want people to put me on panels. Why would they do that? You don't know anything, Spears. You know you don't. Goofball. Okay, we done yet? We done here?
Like D.L. Hughley, the comments under Spears' social media account were more mixed, possibly reflecting the more conservative audience Spears attracts.
DL didn't really say anything. He just said, what about the royal suit, and got out of there. This dummy wrote in all caps 3 paragraphs and used half of what DL said. He don't know what to say. He just wants to play the social media game. Anything else? And we're going to leave it there. Hey, look, man. You know, it's okay not to know stuff, and it's okay to like who you like. But you can't rewrite history. You know, Obama, he was not the most tortured president of all time. I know you want to claim that. It just wasn't true. There were people on the fringe who were making pictures and memes of monkeys and stuff. Yeah, that happened. But that had no effect on Obama as a person, as a president, as commander-in-chief. Had no effect on his popularity overall or his policy. Had nothing to do with anything. It did not threaten his security or his agenda of what he was trying to get done. He got done what he wanted to get done. He legalized gay marriage, and he created the DREAM Act to help migrants. He got done what he wanted to get done. Oh, and he threw a big-ass bone to the pharmaceutical in Wall Street in the form of a Republican health care plan. He got what he wanted. Next. All right, folks, can I get a like? We're looking for 400 likes on our show. Like this content. If you like the content, hit the like button if you're on X or on Facebook or wherever you are. Hit the button, hit the button, hit the button. Let's jump to this other part. I got people talking about what's going on in the country currently with the tariffs. Trump rolling back tariffs, putting a pause on some things. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know. Put it in the comments, guys.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yo.
For your party overall, now that Trump is in office, we're not seeing the same kind of response that we did in 2017 when he first took office. It seems like Democrats are lost. And tell me if you disagree with that in terms of strategy and what comes next. And, you know, you said that Democrats who attended the inauguration and called Trump a threat to democracy were essentially being hypocritical, because why would they go if that's what they really believed? For the Progressive Caucus and for progressive Democrats and all Democrats.
Also, you have to remember, Trump himself did not attend Biden's inauguration.
Yeah.
Even though he was the outgoing president that was supposed to, you know, help with that transition. They didn't have the decency to invite the Bidens to the White House. And so just the level of indignity that they'd shown and disrespect to tradition, to me, said no one should show him dignity and respect.
Do you think President Biden handled that wrong? Because, you know, he greeted him, he said, welcome home, he left him a letter. I mean, he followed all of the traditions that typically you see an outgoing president follow.
President Biden has always been a real American, a patriot.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Yeah, Biden was always a patriot. Oh, if you mean the crime bill maverick, the doctor, the guy with his fingerprints on every piece of tough on crime legislation in the last 40 years, that guy, yeah, that's a true patriot. Can't get enough of him. He's such a patriot. He was damn near senile, still in office and trying to run for a second term. That's patriotism, man. If that don't make you a patriot, what can? That guy's, man, whoo. Man, regular old Davy Crockett up in here. Ronald Reagan, stand up. Dwight Eisenhower. Yeah, this guy's amazing. Give me a break. And now you were saying that Trump was illegitimate and all this other garbage right along with the rest of them. And that's why you said nobody should go show up. You weren't talking about just the fact he didn't go to the inauguration. The State of the Union and the inauguration ain't the same thing. But let's keep going, Josh. This is.
I think the fact that he did not have a peaceful transition and it was challenging for him, wanted to show the American people how to do it and remind them. And I think there were some exceptions of some of the folks that could have been there for that sort of purpose. But to have the mass number of people that showed up that really didn't have a reason to be there.
What are you talking about? I know, it's been years since I listened to Ilhan Omar. She's become word salad too. Am I like, what's up with these people? They can't speak directly? No one will have the guts to speak directly. Say your unpopular things. Like with a chest. Say it with your chest. I'm serious, man. Like if you got something to say, say it. Tim Walz, Minnesota.
You think more Democrats
Democrats
should have skipped it?
Yeah, to me, it sent the wrong message.
Tim.
Well, that's what you said at first, and then you start talking about, well, Biden, Trump didn't go to Biden. You all over the place. What is going on here, man? That's part of the reason why. Excuse me, guys. That's part of the reason why people get tired of Democrats. They're full of it. Excuses, no cohesive message. And that's what Collins was talking about. You guys all over the place, no backbone. You're not standing up, whatever this is. You're doing a bunch of theatrical, putting on a show. It's all symbolism and nonsense. It's like, what? Just run the government. You lost, get out the way, let him do it, let him fall on his face if he's wrong, let it happen, and then get geared up to take over. That's all you can do. But playing victim like, oh no, woe was me, that's not working. People got their own problems. We don't need to hear the crybaby Democrats complaining about an election they outspent Trump in and still lost again. Again. Next.
Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
And what is that message?
That message is that this person that we told you is like going to destroy our democracy and is currently in the process of dismantling everything we hold dear.
What do we hold dear, Elon? Because I don't remember what we've been holding dear. I need a refresher course on all these things that we hold dear in America. We don't hold the middle class dear, no, because we sent them jobs over 30 years ago. Hey, middle class been getting squeezed out for the last 30 years, Ilhan. I know you weren't here then, but most of us, we were here. And yeah, Gen X grew up looking at our parents going like, why is dad and mom so mad? What's going on? We were goofy. We didn't know what was happening. We're too busy listening to Tupac and Biggie Smalls and Wu-Tang and stuff, Public Enemy. That's what I grew up on. I mean, I knew things were bad. I didn't know why. But you're talking like he's still in our democracy. Like, I didn't know we had one. No. I don't know. I didn't recognize that we had it all great. And that's the thing that destroys, man. Is that Democrats operate under this fallacy, folks. And if you don't believe in it, you can't rock with them. And that fallacy is America was going so great. Everybody was holding hands. All the racists were loving each other, giving each other back rubs and being cordial and, being lovey-dovey in the streets. We're all loving each other. And then all of a sudden, Trump showed up. And everything, the sky went black and fire shot out of the clouds. And cats and dogs grew wings and grew into pterodactyls and prehistoric beings and started eating children and burning down people's homes, and all these things happened. Trump showed up in apocalypse. Trump. But we all know people that are older than a cicada, they know that things were pretty much the same as they've been. And this is not even the worst that they've been. You know, this is not. I'm sorry. I remember in the 70s, man. I remember, was the 70s or 80s when we had that gas shortage? I remember a gas shortage when you just couldn't get gas. I was a kid, and I remember my dad saying, "You can't go no show right now." This is the gas. We were lined up around corners looking for gas. I mean, I remember things in America that I didn't know, but that I was going through, but I wasn't going through them. You know what I'm saying? So we hear this belly aching and this crying, as if Trump created these things. Nah, man, you just got a news cycle. You guys just control the media. You make it seem like the sky's falling every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on whatever liberal news, corporate news structure. But the sky fell a long time ago. And Trump's trying different things to try to do whatever he's trying to do to get, to right the ship. I don't know how successful he's going to be, but I don't see it getting any worse than what it's been. And when you win the presidency, you get to try your game plan. That's what it is. It's nobody's fault that when Obama was in there, when Biden was in there, he tried his game plan, which was displace all the working class people, bring in a whole new set of voters, known as migrants. He did, that was his game plan, and he did it. Do the Title VII thing, take sports, make it for everybody, boost up trans athletes, tampon Tim in your own state of Minnesota, put tampons in boys' bathrooms. Like, all this is part of what you wanted to do. Make people use different pronouns. Instead of being focusing on the fact, no matter how people identify themselves, they still got to live indoors. They still want to be able to afford health care. They still want to be able to drive their cars and buy food. Like all those other social things you were on, you forgot about the money. And you did it all under the guise because you got goofies going, but they're nicer. No one cares about nice when they're living on the street. No one cares about nice when they can't afford to retire. No one cares about nice when you can't pay the bills. Let me know if I'm making any sense, y'all.
I'm going to sit here and congratulate him and pat him in the back and clap for him. That's not a good message.
Do you include President Obama and Secretary Clinton among those people?
I just do not understand why they would attend.
So what do you want Democrats to do? How do you want your colleagues to handle a second Trump term? We've heard from some people.
She wants everybody to stay at home. Well, you know what? If you stay at home, let's go ahead and forfeit your salary. And no investments either with inside information, Ilhan. Forfeit your salary. Because if you ain't going to do your job, quit. Just quit.
People like Dan Goldman of New York saying, not everything's a 5-alarm fire, pick your battles. Do you view it that way, or do you think it needs to look more like it did in 2017?
No, obviously we have to pick our battles. I don't think we have to be present for the ceremonial things. This is not a Trump.
This is goofy. It's symbolic. It's stupid. We don't have to show up at events. So what? This is dumb. Omar rips Democrats for attending inauguration. Now I know why we haven't seen you, because you're focused on dumb shit. What's next? Someone didn't use the correct pronoun. Meanwhile, $100 billion been going to the sex change operations of crickets in the Serengeti. And you got no problem with it. Meanwhile, I can't even get a stoplight put into my town. We can't get the potholes fixed in the real world. In the real world. We're still doing this. Next. Enough Ilhan. I don't think I could take it more Ilhan. Damn.
Not someone we should normalize.
Next on deck.
Normalize. Ugh. Stupid language. We shouldn't normalize. He's been president. This is his second term president. You're talking about don't normalize him. That's the dumbest thing in the world. Like Mike Tyson being in a ring with a fighter, and the fighter's going, don't normalize Mike Tyson. Don't normalize his punches. You'll feel it when he hits your ass up. Next.
With Tim Black.
I mean, look, it sounds to me like they're going to be able to use this law as long as these people get their day in court and the administration shows their cards on why they were picked up and deported or prepared for deportation in the first place. So it feels to me like everybody got something, which is that the Trump administration feels like they got some legal vindication on the use of the law. A lot of people were crapping on them over it. And the people who want these immigrants to get some kind of due process are going to get that as well.
But I don't think they even vindicate. I'll let you in, Rachel, but Dante's shaking his head. I'm shaking my head because they did not rule on the use of the law. They
didn't
just
address
said,
it at all.
Wrong court.
But they're going to keep using it, right?
Until the next challenge.
Right. So like when we wake up in the morning, they're going to keep using it, yes?
No, because now they have due process.
But the administration will continue to use the law as a justification for deporting people, yes?
But nobody goes anywhere, right? Because now the detainees have the option to.
So let me just ask one more time. When we wake up in the morning, they will use the law as justification.
They're not using the law.
So you can be cute and say that they can just kick people out of the country, but that's not what the court said. And in fact, the court said these people are entitled.
So
they're entitled to their day in court.
Do you need them to say no?
I just want to know. I just want to know.
The court hasn't ruled on using the law yet.
If the administration can use the law tomorrow. The answer is clearly yes.
Look, they can attempt to use the law, but I think what we can expect is that it'll be challenged. Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS.
Man, there's been a lot of changes to Trump. Some of the concessions he's made to some of his executive orders. Lawsuits pushed back. Groups like the ACLU sued in January over expedited removal, saying it skips hearings, violates rights. Courts might now require hearings before deportations. We're still waiting on the final call. If that comes through, that becomes through. They're challenging Trump. The system is working. Now, if he gets challenged and he loses and then he does it anyway, then you got something to say. That's how this works. Excuse me. The Colombia deal. Late January, Colombia got the U.S. to agree to no handcuffs or photos for their deportees. That's a concession. Okay, no photo ops. No photo ops. And the DHS escorts instead of military. So the Department of Homeland Security has to do the escorting, not the military personnel. So that's more dignity, if you want to call that dignity. You don't want the U.S. military escorting you out. You want cops. Okay, fine. Now the cops are escorting them. This is another concession. Less military. Once again, more civilian. Planes and military deportation flights got scrapped after the backlash. Colombia used its own planes, keeping things under ICE and DHS, which face more legal checks. Two more. Trump's a policy got a snag. Trump's January 20 order sped up deportations. It cut safe zones like schools, but ICE raids flopped in sanctuary cities. This forces them to stick to some court processes for now. They got to go through the courts. And if you are ordered by a court that you can be deported or picked up, then that's how they can do it. Only through the warrants. Can't just show up. Pressure works. Damn it, pressure works. Advocates and lawmakers argue mass deportations break constitutional rules. It's not a full stop, but hey, it's making the government slow down and target criminals first, giving others a shot at legal fights. So, yeah, it's like Democrats don't want to admit it's not going as bad as they want it to go, or is that they're trying to project that it's going. Democrats are starting to cry wolf. And when a wolf eats them up, then we'll see. But for the rest of y'all who just care about the facts are some of the things that Trump was doing have been modified through the courts, who they keep telling you Trump's not listening to. But through the courts, things have been modified, and they won't admit it. And that's what Scott Jennings was alluding to there.
Detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Anybody disagrees with that. 7 million means that they're not just going after criminals.
Well, they're going after people who are in the country illegally, right?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the criminals, this is a much bigger universe.
Doesn't that make you a criminal?
No, it doesn't.
To come across the border illegally?
Coming into the country illegally is a civil offense. It's not a criminal offense.
Okay, if you come...
A civil offense that the crime is deportation, right? Isn't that the crime? The deportation is the crime. It's not a felony. It's against the law. Why do we got to keep having this conversation? It's so stupid. It's a criminal offense because it's against the law. It's illegal. It is illegal. It is not a felony. You can get deported for it. Then, if you do it more than once, you can be incarcerated over it. Then,
into the country illegally, here's the message. We're going to find you and send you back. I mean, I'm sorry, that's the way it is. And I think the government should pull all the levers at its disposal to find people and pull this off. It's what the American people asked Donald Trump to do. Yes, they should be deporting violent people. Yes, they should be deporting people who committed violent acts before they came here. But at some juncture, if you're going to allow any illegal immigration at all, the message then goes out. Just get here. It'll probably work out for you. That was the last administration. This is a different one.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
Yeah,
in terms of strategy, in terms of
they don't got to take a win when a win comes to them, when they get a win. Okay? You're getting a win, take the win and get off the field. And they don't want to do that. So now, guys, just a little update on the tariffs. Can we go to the tariffs for a second? Because some people are upset about it. Some people are concerned. This won't take long, but we want to understand what's happening. Check it out.
On deck with Tim Black.
You say there's no strategy, but the Treasury Secretary swears this was all part of a grand plan. You don't buy that?
Obviously not, because if in any deal, right, if you're trying to, the art of the deal we keep hearing, okay, great. What are you trying to get out of that? Well, you would want to get some concessions, right? You'd want to get something that you negotiated for. All they got were phone calls from foreign countries. That's pretty easy. You could have just called them yourselves and said, hey, we might inflict tariffs on you unless you negotiate with us. They don't even have any concessions. It is a complete 180-degree turn. It is a total cave because Donald Trump recognized that whatever his rationale for the tariffs were was not being bought by the American people and by the global economy.
104% tariffs on China are not enough. I'm advocating 400%. I do business in China. They don't play by the rules. They've been in the WTO for decades. They have never abided by any of the rules they agreed to when they came in for decades. They cheat, they steal IP. I can't litigate in their courts. They take product, technology, they steal it, they manufacture it and sell it back here. Never has an administration.
400% tariffs? What would that look like?
I want Xi on an airplane to Washington to level the playing field. This is not about tariffs anymore. Nobody has taken on China yet, not the Europeans, no administration for decades. As someone who actually does business there, I've had enough. I speak for millions of Americans who have IP that have been stolen by the Chinese. I have nothing against the Chinese people. They brought great literacy, art, and tech to the world. The government cheats and steals, and finally, an administration, you may not like Trump, you may not like his style or his rhetoric, finally, an administration that puts up and says enough. 400% tariffs tomorrow morning. He'll tell you why. Xi can only stay the supreme leader if people are employed. If we wipe out any business there, because we are still 39% of all consumables on Earth and 25% of the world's GDP, America is the #1 economy on Earth with all the cards. We will not have that forever. It's time to squeeze Chinese heads into the wall now.
Well,
I'm
hold
not
on
talking
a
about
second,
tariffs.
Kevin. Well, I hear you, but hold on. If we're talking about people, the average consumer, not necessarily the head honchos of businesses all across the globe, can they withstand the pressure of that sort of tax on the goods?
It's short-lived. There will be
but what's your timeline compared to, you don't know the average American's timeline, what they can actually survive. There's people right now who can't survive
400% tomorrow morning, Xi's on an airplane to Washington to cut a deal.
Moving markets right now is a brand new Truth Social out from President Trump. The Dow is surging now up 1,500 points on this. President Trump has just put out a Truth Social saying, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charge to China by the U.S. to 125% effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based on the fact that more than 75 countries have called reps of the United States, including the Department of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the U.S. And here's the big news grabbing the headlines.
No, this is the thing, man. This is what's so bad about being a Democrat right now. You got to spin it like that's not a win. You got to spin it like, oh, he didn't mean to do what he did, and it just so it turned out good. He got lucky. Yeah, okay. Why didn't Obama get lucky? Or why didn't Biden get lucky doing this? Okay, here's the deal, man. He stuck his neck out. He's trying something different. And you just saw the green. I don't know if you noticed or not, but green is good. That's going up. They were reporting when it was down. They were reporting when it was in those reds. They wouldn't stop talking about it. Now that they're green, you see that spike of green? That's positive. Now they're trying to make the positive seem like it's not real. This is what we're dealing with. All right? Yeah, you put the tariffs on them. They didn't reciprocate. They didn't go to war with them. They called up and said, hey, let's work something out. And that's all you want them to do. You want them to work something out. Maybe he felt he needed to say, hey, I'm willing to do this. If you don't want to work something out, then people want to work things out. Yeah, just calling them and saying, let's work something out. And they're like, why would we do that? We like things the way they are. Who wants to? Sometimes it takes adversity for things to change. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see the future. But Trump came in talking about tariffs. He talked about making America great again. This is what he ran on. This is not what Biden ran on. He ran on doing some different things, and he's doing some different things. All I know, I'm not on Wall Street, but I know what green looks like, and I know what green means universally. Well, at least in the United States, I know what green means. It could mean something somewhere else. It could be different. But here, when I see reds, I think stop, and I see green, I say go. And now they got to spin it like it's a negative to be in the green.
I've authorized a 90-day pause, capital letters, and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. He finishes with, thank you for your attention on this matter. That's a new Truth Social, John, out from the president moments ago. The market's obviously reacting to that.
At this hour, the president taking questions on his tariff strategy from the Oval Office just moments ago. So let's take a listen.
Bring them to the table. Why did you instruct or advise, or maybe they did it on their own, some of your top aides to say this is not a negotiation, to hold the line, that they were going to hold the line, that you were not going to change your mind?
A lot of times it's not a negotiation until it is, and that happens. And, I said outside that you have to have flexibility to do it right, and that's what we have. We brought everybody to the table, and it may not be a negotiation. It may not last. I mean, things may be asked that I think are not fair to us. Look, we've been ripped off by essentially everybody for 35 years. This is not just a new thing. And Roger Penske just left. He's a great gentleman, great man, actually. And he said no other president would have had the guts to do this. And I believe that's right. They wouldn't have done it. They should have done this a long time ago. A long time ago they should have done it. I started it with China. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes from China in my first term. And we had the greatest economy. We were up 88% on the stock market. That was the greatest ever in the history of our country. But it had to be done. It's something that had to be done.
Mr. President. It's important to know when things were up, when things were going well under his first term, they wouldn't report it. No one wanted to talk about it when things were up because, pretty much, man, the liberal corporate media, they just side with the Democratic Party, man. It's always politics. So it is what it is. But the moment things got bad, when COVID hit, then they reported on it. And that's what they always do. It's a repetitive thing. It's just what it is. The record shows it's just what it is. Like now, a 90-day reprieve on his early announcements on the tariffs, people going, why did he do that? It's crazy. It's erratic. Yeah, but it's working. I mean, if people come to the table and we can get some of our, some of the tariffs that are against us lowered, and at the end of the day, we end up in a better position, who cares what the market did? Hey, honestly, who cares if it went down a little, went up? Went down, went back up. Who cares? I mean, for most working people, that's not what we're concerned with. At the end of the day, sometimes you got to break a couple eggs and make some scrambled eggs. You got to crack eggs, right? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then look, and at the end, this could all fail. And he could become a laughing stock. And I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm open to that happening too. But unlike the Democrats, unlike the corporate media, unlike independent media, that's actually very much corporate media, I'm not going to call it either way. I'm going to say, let's look and see what happens. That's all we're going to do anyway. People get up here on these live streams, they act like they know something. They're just repeating the talking points from their party. I'm not repeating any talking points, and I have no party. I'm independent. And all I want to say is, let's see what happens. And I'm willing to withhold judgment on something until we see what happens. But when I see green, I see positive. I see red, I think negative. Why aren't those same people reporting positively on a huge green spike if they were reporting last week on the little red one? Then stop pretending that you ain't Democrats. Just cut the cap. Just stop pretending. It doesn't matter if you are or you aren't. I get it. A lot of you don't know there's other parties out there. You feel like you gotta be a Democrat. I'm a Democratic Party hater. Doesn't make me a Republican Party lover. Okay? I'm just calling it as I see it. But these people pretend that they are unbiased or that they're reporting news, and all they're doing is repeating whatever the Democrats want them to say, and just so they can end up going on the Midas Touch or interviewing Jasmine Crockett one day if they're really nice and shut up and go along, or might be able to open for someone if you're Ari Spears. And it's garbage. I think Cat Williams said it best, man. We're supposed to be on the side of good, not the side of evil. And that got nothing to do with Democrats and Republicans. We should all be on the same team, but that's not the way it works out. Be on the side of justice and the side of good, and stop worrying about parties. And be on the side of black people getting out of the bottom. We're at the bottom of everything good and at the top of everything bad in this country. It's time for it to stop. And we got to change it. And one way we change it, how do we start? We get out of the burning building, which is the Democratic Party, and we stop giving away our political capital for free automatically without any negotiation. You saw what Trump just did. He negotiated. He didn't just ask pretty please for Kamala to help the blacks. He negotiated by doing something radical. I think black people got to be radical and lead the Democratic Party. Unregister. Yeah, you want something to do? People say it from time to time. Tim, what should we do? Unregister as a Democrat. You can re-register later if you feel the intention, but make them earn it. Make them earn it. If you don't want to do that, don't cost you no money. You don't want to do that? Well, then stop asking me, what should we do? Because I just told you something to do that would have a huge effect if 30% of Black America, if 30% of Black America did it, it would have a huge effect. It would be news. So if you want something to do, go do that. We got 4 years. We can do it. Don't want to do that? Don't sound like you're really serious about doing anything. Are we almost done here? I think we're almost done here.
Mr. President, thank you. Companies, all they have is money. They have so much money, and they give billions of dollars, and they're just going to keep the money. They're not going to spend it. The only thing that's going to bring them back is you say, we have a barrier. You have to pay 50% or 100% or 200%. And if they have to pay that, they're going to say, we're not going to pay that. We're going to build here. And that's what happened. We're the biggest, most prestigious chip company in the world, spending $200 to $300 billion. Think of that, $1 billion to build essentially one massive plant. It'll be one of the largest plants in the world, and we're going to get them very quickly. We're going to get them energy. We're going to get them the electricity they need and the energy that they need, and it'll be approved by Lee Zeldin, a total professional, and it'll be approved very quickly. And they'll get their zoning very quickly. They'll have everything done in a matter of months.
Thank you, sir. You've procured a record amount of private sector investments since your election, $7 trillion. You talked about the importance of all that. Can you talk about how these investments will have a positive impact on families who felt like the previous economy left them behind, and why your executive orders on coal yesterday is so important given the amount of manufacturing that you're ushering back in?
Good, thank you. And which is correct. We have, I would say, more than $7 trillion now, right, of investment coming in. Apple is coming in for $500 billion alone. We have other companies coming in with massive numbers. We have car companies that are coming in. No, we've never seen anything like it. Maybe in the 1940s or 50s or something, but we've never seen anything like it. They had 3 plants canceled in Mexico. Not that we want to hurt Mexico, but we're for us. And that's what my job is. It's not to take care of other countries, but I want to help other countries as much as I can, but we have to take care of America first. And
you know what? It seems like they're Democrats, man, and this is crazy. And this is why I can't rock with the Democrats, man, and why I had such a problem with the progressives. It seems like they want to be for everyone except this country here. And maybe they feel that way because by and large, most of the progressives that I run in are white people that are from other countries, and maybe they got other countries they could go to. Maybe they got roots in Ireland or Italy or, England or whatever. But, as a Black American, the only country we have really is America. We're not Africans. We're Black Americans. And so I find it difficult to see the logic of rooting against the only country that we have any claim to at all. And we helped build it. So, I get it. You want to, America itself was, 20, 30 years ago talking about this New World Order crap. I think it started under Bush, right? Where they were talking about, they're the ones that started this outsourcing thing. And this is one global economy and all this crap. And that's what started the unraveling. And they sold it to America that it was a good idea. We're telling American workers, this is going to work out for you. And how did it work out for you? They say, trying to focus on American issues. They say that is a colonizer's mindset or something. And I'm like, what are Black people supposed to do? We're at the bottom in America. And your solution to that is sitting back and watch America go to hell in a handbasket and laughing about it and cheering it on as if that somehow helps us. And I don't see how it does. Nah, I don't think I'm gonna join that brigade, Johnson. I don't know what you want to call that. You want to call that being a Trumper, or somebody said something really stupid. Like, look, I'm a Democratic Party hater. They've been stealing votes. They have been ransoming votes. They've been ransoming. They have been extorting votes from my people for 50 years. And my people have moved exactly 3 percentage points in home ownership in 50 years. Meanwhile, migrants who come to this country have passed us in a percentage of home ownership. And you want me to be okay with it. That's because you don't care about Black Americans. You care about the world. Now, you love putting BLM in your avatar, in your name tag on Twitter or on Facebook or on Instagram, but you really don't care about Black people. You don't. Because you would be appalled. You wouldn't just be appalled. You'd be mobilized. You wouldn't be just mobilized. But you know what? Maybe you wouldn't be mobilized. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. But what you would definitely not do is be in the comments or be in the DMs of a Black man standing up for Black people who are stuck to the bottom in this country due to policies enacted by this country for so long. And a party that has tricked them into thinking this party gonna come lynch you and you gotta go with this party, and that party does nothing for you. And then they import new people. And everything that they should have given to you, they gave to them. And you want me to be quiet about it because it's not nice to say. You can take nice and shove it. And if that means we ain't friends, and that means, yeah, I'm shocked, Tim. I can't believe you. Believe it. Believe it, Sparkles. I woke up, and it'd be good if you did too. You know what? You ain't got to wake up, and you ain't got to go home. But you can get the hell out of here, because I'm on mine. I don't come to this lightly. I don't come to my conclusions lightly based on weird Ouija board or a dream I had that something tapped me on the shoulder or some shit. No, from reading, from researching this issue. This is where we are. So yeah, I will not root for the demise of this country. So there it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. We'll see what Trump is able to do. We'll see what happens. And my job is to report on it. Yeah, but unregistered with the Democrats. Make them earn it. Make them earn it. No arranged marriages. No arranged political parties. All right, guys, let's go to the comment section. Who's in the house? Who is in the house tonight? Who we got? All right, we got Megs in the house. Thank you, Megs, for doing what you do. Thank you for supporting this channel, Spice Radio. I'm about to bring it. You know it, fam. Black Mamba in the house. Thank you, Black Mamba. And Zacked Out became a YouTube member. Thank you, Zacked Out. I appreciate you, fam. It is what it is. Yep. Thank you, DeAndre. What's up, DeAndre? My brother, my brother, my brother. Yep. From living long enough to see it with your own eyes. Yep, Tim, you are on a roll. And I know there's people that disagree with me. Hey, man, I get it, man. Feel free to leave the country. I get it. Pack up and leave. I get it. We got a lot of people that aren't from America anyway. They're from other countries. They are brown. They're from brown countries or black countries or whatever, African countries. They come here. They got a lot of beef. I understand. America's done a lot of things. I understand. What do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do about it? Some of y'all are goofy. You want to take down America and then still live here. At least believe it. So the way I look at it, at least I'm consistent. I want to fix this country. I don't support colonization. I don't support raping other countries and doing all these things. I don't. But I'm alive I live in DC. I live in Maryland. Okay? We have things we need to do for our community and for our state. I know you don't care about what's going on with Black America. I get it. You from Nigeria, the Congo, or some other place. I get it. You from Puerto Rico. I don't know. I get it. We evil. The country's evil. Fine. Get your passport. Bounce. While we try to fix this. Why are you even here? I get it. I understand it. I'm here because this is all I know. And this is a country we are from. My family's from. Why are you here? You are here on studies. Well, look, man, I'm not telling you to leave. But I'm saying like, don't ask me. If I can't ask you why are you here, why are you asking me why am I? That's goofy. Like somebody, I just don't get it. I'm not going to root for the demise of this country. I would like this country to be repaired. And I would like Black America. And since I don't plan on this country going away tomorrow, Black people still got to live here in the meantime. And I know you don't care about that. I get it. You don't care about what my kids got to go through. I understand. You don't care. Fine. I would like for them to not go through certain things in this country. So yeah, that's just my point of view on it. You can have your point of view too. That's fine. And I encourage you to get a YouTube channel and build an audience and work on it for a decade, and then have a platform. Or shorter, maybe it'll be quicker for you. Maybe you'll kiss the right asses and have a humongous platform in 6 months by throwing other black people under the bus and stuff like that. A couple years. Maybe that'll work for you. But let's assume you're going to have some ethics. You're going to do it the right way. Well, I encourage you to do so. These are opinions. There's news and then there's opinions. In my opinion, we got too many people that aren't black Americans telling black America how to feel about America. When it's very complicated. And if you can't admit that, if you don't know how complicated it is for black Americans living in America, we were enslaved here. So it's very complicated. But your goofy ass wasn't. And you don't see how it's not the same thing. We fought in every war America's ever had. Imagine that, being enslaved in the country and still fought in every war to preserve it. And even wars that were just, hell, man, that we should never been in as a country at all. Wars of domination and coercion, theft, bad wars, And that goes for all the poor whites too who died in them. Not just poor blacks, poor whites. Because rich white people don't sign up to go to war. They go to law school or Wall Street or medical school. Yeah, we're going to be, at some point, we're going to swing the car all the way around and get to a whole different conversation. We're going to get there. I want to thank everybody for hanging in there. A friend once told me, or I read somewhere, a friend is someone who wants for themselves, or a friend is someone who wants for you the same thing they want for themselves. That's a friend. A friend doesn't want less for you and more for themselves. They want the same. All right, I got nothing but love for y'all, man. I thank y'all for being here tonight. What a night. We did our thing. We did that. We did it well. We fought for it. I love to watch you and brother Dennis Sperling have a conversation. Ain't that the brother that kind of stepped in after Kevin Samuels? Is that the correct brother? I haven't seen him since then. I didn't know he was still doing content. I mean, I'm open to it, long as he's serious and he's been grinding. That's the only thing, you want to work with people that are at least serious about what they're doing and have put some time in. They don't have to put in as long as me. Lord knows, no. If I could only talk to people that have been doing this for 10 years, I ain't nobody to talk to. It gets very small who you can have a conversation with. But yeah, man. I don't know. Tell Sperling to holler at me. Tell him to holler at me. We could do a Zoom thing, have a conversation. We ain't got to agree on much. All we got to do is love black people. That's all we got to do, because I ain't going to be on here with another brother and him be hating, it ain't going to be like that. I ain't going to do a live shit with a brother that's dumping on black America. Like that. Unless he's really big, like Officer Tatum, me and him, we can have a conversation. Because I'm going to clean his clock. Yeah, I'm going to knock him out. Yeah. They be talking a lot of rings around young people who don't have to call a reference. You know what I'm saying? They be talking that mess because sometimes a younger person doesn't, doesn't know about the historical context of some of the debates. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got. I got nothing but love for you, though. We ain't got to agree, but we're going to know where we're coming from. I wish for you the same thing I wish for myself. Peace, love, and pursuit of happiness for you and yours. Don't try to take that from me. And don't demonize it. All right, guys, go to timblackmug.com. Order your mug, $20 to your door. timblackmug.com. Pick up your Tim Black gear at the timblackpaws.com. And, yeah, let's run the commercial and be up out. But before we do that, look, guys, No commercial tonight. No commercial. Don't let anybody take your cornbread. And as always, where's my ladies? Oh, damn, I don't have my ladies set up. Well, if that's the case, I guess I gotta run a commercial. Yes, we do, Johnson. You know the deal. Independent black media stays unapologetic, raw, and real. Now you can wear the movement. From the Tim Black Wolfpack to the Cornbread Collection, we got gear for the real ones. For men, women, even the little ones. No weak threads, no weak messages. Rep the truth. Rep the movement. Hit up timblackpauls.com and grab yours today. Because cornbread ain't free. Wolfpack.